for like 6 more months. I mean, they're talking until, at least in England, until like social distancing until the end of the year, which is like fucking nuts. Are you guys in Paris?
I am, yes.
You're in Paris.
Mm-hmm. I'm in Thailand.
Oh, cool. How's Poland doing?
No, Thailand.
Oh, Thailand. I thought you said Poland. How's Thailand? That's much more exciting.
Yeah, it's good. It's cool. Like they're doing also like social distancing, and we have to wear masks. But other than that, like it's pretty. Like we can still go to the beach.
Yeah.
All the restaurants are closed, and we can only like take out food.
Yeah.
But other than that, like it's pretty chill. Quite different from France and Europe in general.
Yeah, France's lockdown sounds more intense than ours. With the, have you still got the passport situation, like the to get out the house you need documents?
Yeah, you do. But now they did it on. You can do it on your phone now.
Okay.
But I think they track your phone to see like how long you are outside and where.
Yeah, that's the fucked up bit. I like I read that thing about the some French minister who's like spoke to Apple and Google to try and change the privacy laws so that you'd be able to I don't know, see where everybody's gone on their phone, which I mean you already have that. Like if you look deep in your settings on your iPhone, there's like a list of all the places you've been and how long you've been there on a map. Which the first time you ever see that, you're like, whoa, you can turn it off, but it's, I don't know. I don't like the privacy element of it. Although we are talking on Zoom, and Zoom is like, I don't know.
Yeah, I heard
sent me an article about how it's like basically spyware.
Yeah, it's weird because like everyone is using it, but like my dad was like, "Oh, don't use Zoom." I was like, "Oh, well, I have to for meetings." Yeah.
It's because it's so useful. I mean, like compared to I've been talking to people on Skype, and like it's just not as good. And Zoom, it's just filled this place of like being able to have like 30 people all talking at the same time, and it's not a problem. Skype is like you get this feedback loop and like all the sound goes mental, but it does seem like it's prime like territory for hackers and stuff, or like people just like going into school, like when there's been like people having homeschooling, and then some hacker will just come in and like play porn in front of all the kids, or like, you know, it's sort of weird shit going on like that. And internet's weird.
Okay, so we have shared the video on YouTube.
Okay, cool.
So people are able to see you now.
Hello, YouTube.
And yeah, so like we asked people to like send all the questions that we had for you. So yeah, we have a selection here, so we can
cool.
Whatever you want.
Fire away.
Okay. Do you want to start, Aurelia?
Yeah, sure. What was it like filming your last few scenes on The Last Kingdom?
My last few scenes, what does that imply? My last few scenes, I feel like I've been, like I'm, like, the new season hasn't come out yet, so you just mean, how was it to film the scenes that I filmed on the last season?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. It's just like all the other ones. I can't talk about it. I feel like I've been fucking doorstepped by a journalist or something, and they've like asked me a real pertinent question. What was it like? It was hot. Really, really, really hot. It was like middle of summer in Hungary, and it was 40 degrees, people passing out from heat exhaustion. Me and Jamie Blackley, who plays Eardwolf, my right hand man on the new season, we were filming these battle sequences, and we were out in a field at like 40-degree heat. I was going to say on horses, but we actually weren't on horses. We were on mechanical like saddles to make us look like we were on horses. There's a really, really, really cool shot of us going into battle at the front of a charge, and those horses are not real. But it's because in order to get the camera to line up perfectly and not pull, like if you have a real horse and a camera on a truck, like it's not going to work. So it's just to keep us in focus. We could have done it with real horses. We're very good at riding horses. So yeah, the last few scenes were just like lots and lots and lots of battles, loads of blood and dirt and just unbelievable heat and wasps and crosswords. Actually, me and Jamie got really into trying to do cryptic crosswords. And yeah, that was most of our days. Yeah. So my brain broke for a second there when you asked me that question. I wasn't sure how to answer it without talking about the story.
Okay, so next question is, what's the last thing that you've watched on Netflix?
The last thing I watched is Tiger King. Yeah. Just the best thing I've ever seen. I love it so much. I saw the Louis Theroux documentary about where he went to see Louis Theroux. He's a British documentary filmmaker. And he used to do this thing called Weird Weekends, where he'd go and like hang out with wrestlers or UFO guys in Arizona or Nevada, or people who think that they talk to extraterrestrials. And he did one with Joe, what's his name? Joe Exotic, years ago. And it was just as crazy back then. In that episode of Louis Theroux's thing, there was like a tornado that was going to maybe come through and hit the zoo. And he was talking about like shooting. Joe Exotic was talking about shooting like 250 tigers. He's like, I'll do it. I wouldn't hesitate. Joe Exotic is always talking about shooting people in the head when it hasn't come up. He's always like going like, listen, man, I'd shoot without hesitation. I'd shoot you in the head rather than my tigers. It's like, I didn't even ask about why are you talking about shooting anybody? He's like, without hesitation, I'd shoot you and I'd shoot you. It's like, so nuts. Yeah, I loved it. Highly recommend if you haven't seen it.
Someone asked, do you want to do something new beside writing, beside acting, sorry, like writing a book or maybe creating your own show? If so, do you have any ideas?
Yeah, I'd like to write something. I'm using this quarantine time to work on this script idea that I've got, which is pretty out there as an idea. I don't know if it makes any sense yet, so I'm trying not to like judge it too hard and just write without even any idea of like structure, and then later on make it more into something that would be watchable for other people. But yeah, this quarantine time has been like really great in terms of me being creative. Like usually I don't want to do creative stuff. Like I find it difficult to, it's not that I don't want to do it, it's just I find it difficult to be self-motivated, and like it's crazy. I'll be like, today is going to be the day that I'm going to write oh my god, it's bedtime. It's like I get up and I'm like, today will be the most productive day. Now I just spent 17 hours playing Civilization 6. It's bedtime, you know, like without even realizing it. And so this time has been like, I get up 8 o'clock in the morning, well, even earlier. I don't have any blinds at the minute in my bedroom, so it's just like morning, you have to get up, and it's so bright in my room. And yeah, I just draw and write basically all day. So yeah, this is good time for creativity for me, and bake banana bread like everybody else in the world. Are you guys baking banana bread?
No, not yet. I was thinking about it, but not yet.
I got some bananas in the fridge that they're gonna get baked for banana bread today.
I just brought them like 2 days ago, and I was like, I should make it, but I've never made banana bread before, so.
It's really easy. Also, you should wait for the bananas to get like really brown, and then do it better. You want overripe bananas. Yes.
So next question. You're also known for like all of the actions that you do for the planet. Is there a book that you can recommend for me to understand more our planet more and climate change effects?
Yeah, there's this one, which is depressing. Depends what kind of book you want. Whether you want this is one that I read recently, called The Uninhabitable Earth, which judging by the title is not that pleasant a read, which is just like every chapter is a different topic about how the climate breakdown will affect, how it will get worse, and also how it will affect like the food system and political systems and refugee, the routes that migrants take. And yeah, it's like really difficult to read and not very fun at all. But it's, if you can stomach it, it's quite good. Yeah, I recommend that one, but it's not fun to read.
If there was a cocktail called rain, what would the cocktail be made of?
Interesting question. Well, I feel like it's got to be a mixture of like modern and old. So it has to have some sort of like wine in it. Not that many cocktails have wine in them, but some, you know, like a Bloody Mary can have wine in it. Well, a Bloody Mary. Yeah, so something with wine, but then also something like really modern and fizzy, like sherbet or something. That sounds like it won't work, but somehow if you can get something, if someone can make an actual cocktail that's got like something really old, or even old, like what about cognac or something, French cognac, for the Valois line, and then something like completely modern and fizzy, like cherry Lambrini or something. You make a cocktail out of like those two flavors. I think it'd be something like that.
Nice.
Then we have, how do you want to celebrate your 30th birthday?
Thanks for reminding me. I've got one. I'm turning 29 this year, so yeah, I will be turning 30 next year. I don't know. It depends if we're allowed outside. I'd like to do something with humans. That'd be good. I don't really celebrate birthdays in like a big way. I'm not very good at doing, like, some of my friends have these beautiful dinners, and there's like one of my friends' birthdays recently, there was like speeches and stuff. It's like, wow, I don't think I'm gonna have speeches at my 30th. But like I always said about Toby, you know, I can't imagine that happening. But as long as I'm with people I love, and it's some big dinner somewhere, that'd be nice. I'd quite like to enter my 30s not blind drunk, if possible. If I can wake up on the first morning of my 30th year not hungover, that would set a good precedent for my 30s, because my 20s have been the hungover years, and maybe I can do some more, like wake up and meditate or something a bit more wholesome.
Your favorite memory meeting fans?
Well, I can see one actually here. This is I've got this on my shelf. This is from, I can't remember her name, but she's come to a couple of conventions. She's probably like 8, I think, and she gave me this, which is a trophy that says 1 on it, number 1, and has got pens. She gifted me pens, so that was incredibly sweet. And there's lots. I mean, the conventions that we've done have been so touching, and to see how much the show is influenced people, to see people who've got tattoos based on the show, some of the amazing artwork that's been brought to me and shown to me, gifted to me sometimes, and sometimes just to sign, but like just amazing stuff. And yeah, that makes it all make sense, like just to have that conversation rather than it being like a one-way thing. So yeah, it's all good. And the fan edited videos and stuff that we were shown one year is just like heartwarming. Yeah, lots of stuff. Can't pick one moment, although the trophy's pretty good.
Was it gifted to you in Paris?
That the trophy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Is
Maybe.
it like the little girl that had like the crown or
Crown on? Yeah, dressed like a princess. Yeah, it was her. Do you know what her name is?
I know her mom's name.
Yeah.
But I don't know. She got my brother a gift at the rain convention because she loved my brother so much for some reason. So she got him. So the next day, the second day of the convention, she got him a Lion King pop. She was so cute. Like she came and he was like, wait, like how? And she was like, well, yesterday you told me it's your favorite Disney movie, so like I wanted to give you a gift. That was so cute. She's really cute.
Yeah, they're very sweet.
So next we have a fan saying, Toby, what can you tell us about? Oh no, wait, no, it's we all know that you're a very committed person, and I wanted to thank you for that, by the way. So I wanted to know which book, show, or movie has helped you to become a better person.
Let me think. Something I read like last year was really inspirational, called Fatu Hiva, which is by Tor Heyerdahl. He's Norwegian. I should be able to pronounce his name better, but Fatu Hiva is about the year that he went to go and live in Polynesia when he was like 19. I think he's 19 or 20. Got married. Him and his new what do you call it? His newlyweds. What do you call it? A new not new wife. That sounds sexist, but like a new car. But I just mean that they hadn't known each other that long, and they went to go and live in Polynesia, like the most remote island in the world, to try and go back to a natural way of living, like a pre-agricultural type thing. And he's just so inspirational. He's this Norwegian explorer. He just went and did it. He went and did this crazy thing. I mean, they almost died. Like they got almost like when the rain seasons came, it was just like hell. But he just did it, and he was only like 20 at the time. And then he realized that these like Polynesian heads, stone, you know, the heads that you see on Easter Island, the big stone carved heads. There are some of those on the islands that they were on, and he realized that it's likely that people sailed from Peru and from South America, and the thinking at the time was like, this impossible. You cannot. It's however many thousands of miles off the coast of South America. How you could get a boat there is impossible. But he did it. He proved it. He just did it. He's like, okay, well, I'll prove it to you. And he built a boat, a traditional South American raft, and not even sailed it, like drifted to these islands to prove it. And I found his proactiveness and his sort of no bullshit attitude really inspiring recently. Stuff by Alan Watts, the philosopher. When I first read there's a book called The Book. I think it's called The Taboo of Knowing Who You Really Are, I think. There's another one called The Age of Anxiety. They're quite similar books. Sorry, not The Age of Anxiety, The Wisdom of Insecurity. And both of those books, when I read them when I was like 19 or 20, was like, blew my mind that he was able to like quite clearly articulate this sort of belief that I think people have, but they can't understand about how we're connected and how the illusions of like time and death and what we're doing here and who we are and our experience of feeling like we're little drivers inside of our heads, like little souls inside of our bodies, driving ourselves around, and all these weird experiences of being alive. And he articulated it very, very well. When I was in my late teens and read that stuff and saw a lot of his stuff on the internet, was just like, whoa, man, changed my life, man. Yeah, those two things, love them both.
How was it to be a part of the series The Medici season 3 and to work with Rose again?
That was great. Me and Rose didn't get to work together directly that much, unfortunately. We were in Italy together in some very like relentlessly beautiful places where every time you go around a corner, you're like, oh my God, so goddamn beautiful. But so that was it was really, really nice to spend time with her in these like mad Italian towns. And but we didn't get to do that many scenes together, which is unfortunate. We did some sort of noddings and like knowing nods across some looks of like, I see you. Most of my stuff was with Daniel Sharman, who's excellent, and Johnny Harris, who is plays a terrifying is a terrifying performance from Johnny Harris, and I got to work with him a lot. Our back and forths are very good. Yeah, it was great, and we shot on location in these amazing places. Volterra was a town that we shot in a lot, and I think they have the oldest municipal building in Italy, and we filmed in there with all these tapestries on the walls, and I mean it's just so incredible and looks amazing. And our director, who usually you have a camera operator and a director, and the director tells the camera operator what to do. But our director camera operated the whole thing on Steadicam. He looks like Hercules. He was a horse stunt rider when he was younger. Like, I mean, he's just like an action man, and shot everything on Steadicam, which is like an incredibly heavy setup of a camera to wear. It's like having a guy on your back, and also like you'll have a camera and it's attached to an arm and it's out there, so the added weight of the camera, I mean, it's just a lot. And he wore that camera all day, and like, I mean, he just managed to shoot so fast because he knew exactly what he wanted, didn't have to like relay it through a bunch of people. You know, it was really, really great way of working. And because like time is money on a show, like because you shoot really fast, it makes it, you can convert that time into money thing, so it makes it look really epic. You know what I mean? You know, you get more bang for your buck when you shoot that way. So yeah, I think I don't know when it's coming out. Very soon, a couple of weeks. Excited to see it.
What is your favorite thing to do when you're in a new city or country?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Because what do you do? Like when you go to, every time I'm in New York, I'm like, I'll just go to the galleries. You know, you end up going to the museums and the galleries. You're like, I wouldn't go to the galleries. Well, that's not true, but like you spend more time in museums in other cities than you would in your own city. You don't like, I don't go up and like wake up and I'm like, I'm gonna go to the museum today. It's difficult. Like, I guess the best thing to do is to just meet people somehow. If people who are really, really good at meeting people seem to have the best time in new places. Go to gigs, I think, this is my new policy. When I am allowed to travel again, who knows when we'll be allowed to travel again, but to go to music venues, I think, see live music and meet people. I'm not very good at just walking up to people and being like, hello, I'm new here. But I just go with somebody who's good at that, and then I'll just stand behind them. Yeah, Japan. I want to go to Japan so bad. Top of my list.
What would you like to be remembered about? What would you
remembered for?
Yes.
Yeah.
What would I like to be remembered for? I mean, I suppose for good performances as an actor, that would be good. If rather than people being like, who? I mean, hopefully remembered by my kids as a good dad when they come along sometime. And that my kids aren't like, who? It was your dad. Who was it? It was your dad. Toby was your dad. Oh yeah, right. Yeah, oh yeah, oh dad, yeah. Oh, that guy. Yeah, if my kids remembered me, then I did well.
Yeah, I'm sure they will.
I'm sure they will.
Do you find the film industry in London or the UK to be as good as it is in LA?
No, it's not as big. I mean, it depends what you want. LA is like, I mean, I haven't spent that much time in LA, but when I do, it's like the whole town is geared towards actors. I mean, which is good in a way. Like the industry is everywhere, and so it feels like there's this energy. Everyone's like making movies. It's all leading towards movies. It does mean that there's like so many actors. It's ridiculous. There's like 200,000 actors in LA. I think that's the number. So when you're like, I'm an actor, people are like, okay, sure you are. No, I'm an actor too, you know. But it does feel more sort of energetic. The city feels more energetic, and also it's good. I found like the auditions that I did out there, it's great because when you drive there in your car, you can scream as loud as you want. Like you can go to an audition like screaming your head off and like singing really loudly and being stupid. And it helps to sort of like get rid of some of the initial nerves and the sort of feeling of like, like when you, rather than when in London, you're like on a train being like, excuse me, sorry, excuse me, I'm not coming through. And then you have to go in and maybe like have an emotional breakdown or like, you know, do some high octane scene. And if you've just like been so careful on the train and been like, sorry, excuse me, it's difficult to transition. But if you've just gone like, in your car for like 40 minutes straight, it makes it easier to let go. And the weather's better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
No idea. Absolutely no idea. Yeah, can't answer that. I would have liked to have done a degree by then because I didn't go to university. So I would like to do some kind of degree somehow, although it's difficult to take the time out if you do it as an actor, take 3 years out, because then people really are going like, who? But if I could do an open university degree, maybe I'd do like, so it takes like 6 years. So I've got a few years before I'd have to start to make it to 40. Yeah, if I can do a degree and I don't know, have something else on the side as well as acting. Like I'm enjoying the writing thing. If I can get a project off the ground and make that work. I know things take like literally 10 years to get made. And there's so much TV. So but yeah, I'd love to be on the other side of the camera at some point and do some of the other jobs.
Can you do a degree online?
Yeah, you can do open university degrees, which are like you still have a tutor and everything, but you do it remotely, and you have like a class, I think, that stay with you, and you do it on something like Zoom. Yeah, that'd be nice. But then you kind of miss out on the experience of actually being at university.
True.
But then a lot of people's experience of being at university was just like smoking loads of weed and like trying to get laid for 3 years and never doing any work. So maybe I wouldn't be missing out on that much. I don't know.
What do you normally do in your spare time?
What do I do to stay busy? I try and write. I play the guitar. I work out a lot at the minute, trying to keep some structure in my life when I'm not working. And I got into rock climbing recently again, which took up most of my time until recently when all the gyms closed. So I've been rock climbing a lot, trying to get good at that, face my fear of heights, which is intense. But then I think I've just got a normal fear of heights. I think everybody's got it, and some people can just like turn it off or like stop focusing on it. I'm really like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. But it's good to face your fears.
Do you prefer playing a good character like Francis and Tommaso, or villain?
Yeah.
I don't know how to pronounce it.
Ethelred.
Yeah.
I mean, there's pros and cons to both. I mean, Francis is the character I played for longest and was most attached to and knew the best. You know, we worked a long time on that show. Just the amount of hours that I put in was, it's the thing that I feel probably most comfortable and like I know what that's about the most. And that was great. Ethelred was my first villain, or my like only villain. And at first I was kind of nervous about it. I thought like, oh no, what if people don't like me? It's like, well, that's the point. It's not you. People are not meant to like you. And I found it hard at first, especially because he's particularly cruel and horrible. But it's interesting to try and tap into some of the darker stuff, and you have to sort of empathize with it. You have to find some way to make the character make sense to you, so you can't judge them as much. You have to find a way to sort of psychologically understand them, and that's hard when they're such a bastard. You have to be like, well, what if childhood was difficult? Try and find a way in there. Yes, I mean it's actually kind of fun to play the villain, to be the one that everyone boos at and be like, yeah, fuck you, boo at me. Like, to absorb all the boos is actually kind of fun. Yeah.
How do you feel about playing characters that always die?
Yeah, what the fuck? I don't know. I think it's something to do with the territory of I do period dramas. So, I mean, people tended to die in the past more often. So I'm putting it down to that. I'm putting it down to just the nature of the material, rather than it being like, let's get rid of this guy. I think it's, you know, people just died all the time in the past. So you know, everybody dies in period dramas. It's just like, when is your time coming, and how violent will it be? But yeah, I've died in everything that I've done for about 6 years.
Yeah. You've been vegan for years now, I think. Have you ever been judged or feeling judged by just because you took this decision?
What, to be a vegan?
Yes.
No, I mean, I haven't been a vegan for a while. I was when I was doing Rain, but and I couldn't hack it, to be honest. I couldn't keep it up, especially when I was trying to put weight on, when I was trying to get muscly for jobs, when I was trying to put muscle on. I found it really, really tough not to lose weight. I don't know, when I was shooting Rain, I was like 20. When I started, I was like 22, and I think I was a bit more like I was online a bit more like, yeah, guys, like, don't eat animals and stuff. And I think I shied away from being so arrogant about it. It always feels good to say that kind of stuff and be like, actually, no, I don't eat, I'm a vegan. But, you know, funny enough, the guy in this book who wrote this book about the planet burning said he eats animals. I went and saw him talk, and he was like, yeah, I eat meat. And I said, well, isn't the climate one of the biggest causes of climate change is the agriculture from the cows and stuff? And he's saying, like, the problems are so much more systemic and huge than your personal decision to eat meat. And what we're facing is so bad that you might as well, which I thought was a bit of a cop-out. But yeah, I try and stay away from being too judgmental. I feel myself being judgmental, and I have to, you know, yeah. That's my answer.
Okay, so another question is, the Last Kingdom cast seems to have a lot of fun, like after hours and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, what else did you do as a group, like besides the escape room?
Oh, we hang out all the time when we're doing that job. I mean, it's like we all stay in the same building, and it's a bit like Friends, where people are just sort of like bursting into other people's flats. It wasn't so much this season. The season before this one was just like a big long holiday. And we probably drank too much alcohol. But I mean, what do? We hang out all the time. There was one, like, we hang out so much that one time we broke the lift in the building just because we like all wanted to be together in the lift together, and then it went down instead of up, and we ended up in the basement. But then we ended up playing Mafia in the basement in the dark while we waited for the keys. Always a good time with us. Yeah, love those guys.
What was your favorite travel?
My what?
Your favorite like country or city you visited?
Probably New Orleans. I went to New Orleans in while I was on rain. While I had my one weekend off. Well, I had weekends off anyway. I had a week off, and for the first time in like a year, and I went to Mardi Gras, but like not so much to the. I knew some people who lived there, luckily, because if I'd gone there as a tourist, just a straight tourist, I probably would have ended up like drinking tequila out of a bong or something. Like there are these like drinks that people drink. They're like this tall, neon plastic things. Like you neck the whole thing and then you throw up in a bin. And I stayed away from all that stuff and heard some amazing music. Like just every bar you go into, there's some incredible piano player or jazz band, and you ride around on bikes all night. Like that's how all the young people get around. The young people, it sounds so old. All the young people. I am a young person. That's how we got around on bikes, and yeah, it's just like stay up all night. Beer, like the beers are like $1. It feels like being in Jack Kerouac's On the Road or something, where it's like that beer will be $1, and just amazing music, amazing parades, and I don't know, that just when you come out at the airport, like the air, as soon as I hit that air, it was like, wow, this smells sweet. It is sort of intoxicating place. Amazing.
Have you ever dealt with performance anxiety?
Yeah, all the time. All the time I am nervous, basically. Especially auditions can be nerve-wracking, really, really nerve-wracking. I don't know, it's if you get too comfortable, if you just physically feel too comfortable, probably is a sign that it's not good. You'll have to relax as well, but I think there has to be a certain amount of tension. It's not tension like tense, but a certain questioning. You know, if you relax and you're like, I got this. I don't know. Some actors are like that. Some actors are very, don't worry about things at all. But I mean, for me, I do. I worry all the time. So yeah, I haven't really figured out a good strategy to deal with that, other than the best one, which is just to use it, just to be. If you're stressed, you're stressed. Most characters, especially ones in the past, in the 1500s, 1600s, they're usually stressed. Life is stressful, so it's okay. Just the character stress. You don't have to pretend like you're not stressed. Playing a king in the 9th century. 9th century? Yeah. 900s. Were there 8? We in the 10th century yet? I'm not sure. Yeah, but I can't remember. I think are we in the 900s yet? Or are we still in the 800s? Anyway, either way, 9th or 10th century, it's stressful to be a king. So don't have to pretend that you're not.
What's the best purchase that you've ever made?
Say that again.
What's the best purchase you've ever made? The best thing that you bought?
The best purchase. This sofa is pretty good. This velvet sofa I'm sitting on is quite good. Probably not the best purchase of my life, though. I mean, one thing that's the best thing I got. What's the best thing I've got? I mean, my guitar is the thing I probably spent money on, that I spend a lot of time with, and gives me the most pleasure for the money I've spent. You know, I like my fridge probably costs, well, no, I don't know. You know, so some things that you have to buy and they're expensive, but you basically, like, I don't get that much pleasure out of my fridge. I'm not like, oh, this fridge is just making my life so much better, even though it is, you know, stuffing all my food from writing. But like, the guitar is basically the thing I spend cash on that also makes me happy. Yeah. We've got one of those delays, like the delays on the news when someone doesn't answer a question for ages.
I think that we can't hear Aurelia.
Oh, is she muted? Yeah. What's going on?
I'm trying to
there you go.
Headphones, because my computer is like going crazy, but I think it's good now.
Okay.
You can hear me fine, right?
I can hear you.
Okay. What's the most strange gift you've ever received?
What's what?
The most strange gift you've ever received.
The strangest gift. I got asked this once in an interview, and I said the gift of life from my mum. But that's a bit weird of an answer. The strangest gift. Well, this is maybe not the strangest, but this thing happened to me a few years ago, where I was doing the artist's way, which is it's like a, how do you describe it? It's a like a recovery for your inner artist. We bully our artists when we're young. People bully our artists and are like, you can't make things, you're no good at this. And then you like grow up and you never do any art because you've been told that you can't. And it's like a way to sort of recover from all that stuff that happens when you're young. And then there's a bit in the book where it starts to get a bit like quite esoteric, and like the universe wants you to be an artist. So if you ask for something, you'll get it. And that's when I stopped reading the book, because I'm like, I hate that stuff when it's like, if you want it, you can just have it. And it's like, well, fucking no, that's not how life works. What if two people want the same thing and they both want it? Like, they both can't have it, you know? I don't like when it's like, oh, just think what you need and then the universe will bring it to you. Right? Fuck off. But I was doing it for the sake of it. And I was like, okay, I want colored pencils. I want to be able to draw, bring me some colored pencils. And then that week, I was at Art Basel in Miami, and someone came up to me like with a goodie bag, like he'd been to an event or something. Someone random in the street came up with a goodie bag from this event, and he was like really drunk, and he was like, take this, I don't need this anymore. And he gave it to me, in it, fucking pack of colored pencils. So I mean, like, yes, it's a coincidence, but it's pretty weird. That's a pretty weird gift that I was given. And I was like, okay, fair enough, fine. Okay, sometimes it works. But like, you can't just be like sandwich and then a sandwich flies through the window, you know. Unless you really want it. You got to really want it.
Okay, so could you describe Adelaide, Torrance, and Megan using one word only?
What? Okay. I'll see if I can find a word that describes all three in one single word. Well, no, I can't. I'd probably say motherly, brotherly, sisterly. And you can probably guess which way around those relationships. Maybe Adelaide sisterly isn't quite right, because we played lovers on a TV show and that was quite passionate. But I mean, off camera, off screen, I'd say that those words sum it up pretty good.
Favorite or most wanted superpower?
It's always between stopping time, stopping time, teleportation, and flying are usually the main ones that you want. Teleportation is kind of like flying. I think flying is more fun probably than just being able to go there actually to enjoy, because it's not about the destination, it's about the journey, right? So that's why flying is better. And also like the stopping time thing, if you stopped time, the only reason that there's heat is because particles are moving. So if you stop time, there would be no heat and you'd freeze instantaneously and be dead, and everyone would be dead. So you could only slow it down and then like wear a big jacket to keep warm. So I think probably flying's a good one. Some people say reading minds, and you're like, why the hell would you want to read anyone's mind? Either they're thinking something about you, in which case don't want to know, or they're just thinking what everyone else is thinking, which is just a bunch of random crap all in a row that doesn't make any sense. Yeah. Or the power to be able to kill the plants that live in my flat. Say that again.
I think she froze, so I'll ask the next question.
Okay, sure.
What was it like filming the blood pact scene in Fantastic Beasts 2?
It was great. It was right at the end of the shoot, and I was brought, like, the movie had basically already been made, and it was a sort of late edition, and they were shooting like 3 units at the same time, and I mean, just like an immense amount of work going. I mean, the amount of work that goes into those movies is mad. I would like to be in them a bit more so that I could spend more time in that world, but like just to even witness it for a day, just like everything in it is made with the most utter care. It's just amazing. All the costumes, all the sets, they photograph 3-dimension. I don't know what the word is, where you basically photograph everything so that you can reproduce it in CGI, including me. Like that, you go into a room and they shoot you with 360-degree cameras and stuff, and then reproduce a model of you that's so realistic that you can like zoom into the surface of the skin and see the undulations of skin. I mean, just stuff like that is amazing. So yeah, I would love to, if they're going to make more movies, there's 3 more movies planned. I'd love if there was some more young Dumbledore. I'm sure J.K. Rowling has got all that stuff in her head, so she could let it out, and that'd be great for me. But yeah, it's genuinely like magical, and because I'm only a tiny cog in this huge machine, the Potter machine. It's like you go as a fan, you go as like somebody who saw all the films, who read all the books the day they came out, saw all the films pretty much the day they came out, grew up like at the same age pretty much as like Dan Radcliffe and all the gang, and like yeah, so it's every time. And I was on the set for the last Harry Potter film as well, and just to go into the creature division, I mean, all of this stuff is now I guess that what has become the Harry Potter experience when you go to the studios. Mm-hmm. So it's just like they put you in a golf cart, and they like, it's so big, the set's so big that you have to go on a golf cart around. It is just like being on a magical tour. Now you can go on that magical tour, but back in the day it was like, wonderful. I love all that, like especially sculpturing and the prosthetics and creature department of like all the sculptures and creature design and stuff. It's just so cool.
Someone actually asked you what is your favorite scene in Harry Potter?
My favorite scene?
Yeah.
In Harry Potter? I mean, the films, like, in my opinion, they get better. They got better. They've really found their like footing as the world developed. I mean, like, I remember seeing the trailer for the last film and just thinking like, looks so cool, the way the world that they've like slowly over time built into this like really, 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 I mean, it became much more mature, and I like that for the series. I guess which is the best movie? I mean, The Prisoner of Azkaban is pretty good. Stuff with Gary Oldman, and I don't know. It's difficult to put a finger on one scene that I loved. Also, I haven't read those books for it's like a long time now. But yeah, ending made me cry.
Oh. If you didn't play Francis, what character would you love to play?
In Rain, or in anything?
In Rain.
Is there an ambulance inside your house?
Yeah, it's very loud.
I get asked this question a lot. I mean, I would quite like to play Catherine, to be able to play. She's not. I mean, some people talk about her like she's the villain. But to play someone less on the light side, with one foot in the dark, you know.
How do you stay grounded and humble with your career taking off and having I don't like this word.
What word is it?
Enthusiastic fan base, and I don't like that word.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do I stay grounded?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's difficult to answer that, because I mean, from my perspective, I'm just like I've got loads of downtime when I'm not acting, and all that. I mean, most of my life is like pretty normal, interspersed with the occasional moment of like madness thrown in there. The conventions being one of them, where it's just like they're so intense, and all this like the effort and time put in by people, you know, fans of the show. But apart from that, most of my life's pretty normal. It's not difficult to stay grounded. Sometimes I see people on the train and they're like, "What are you doing on the train?" I'm like, "I take the train." What other form of transport should I be taking? They expect me to be in some sort of like golden helicopter. Just normal. Have you both frozen now? Am I in this Zoom by myself? I've lost. Just me. It's just me live on YouTube by myself with no one. Okay, I'm gonna like leave this thing, because it's weird me just being by myself in here. Maybe they'll like come back and get me or something. I don't know. If am I live on YouTube? What's going on? Goodbye.